Hello, once again, Steven Universe fans. It is I, Lyoko Gem, here once again to bring you yet another Steven Universe video. And this time around, we'll be talking about everybody's favorite gem, or at least my second favorite gem. You know her, you love to hate her, it is Jasper. The big buff Cheeto Puff, the badass, the commander and the leader, and no, she's not Blossom, but who cares? It's Jasper. Yes! But with all of that being said, we're here to talk about Jasper, because as we all saw in Super Watermelon Island, she's dead! No, she actually isn't. I just said that for, you know, the sake of the meme. But for real, Jasper fell into the hole in Super Watermelon Island, and that disappointed me. When I first heard Malachite was coming back in the episode, I thought we were going to have Jasper back, and with her being second favorite gem and all, I was all kinds of excited. Malachite blew up, and I'm just like, yes! Jasper, come back! And oh gosh, darn it! Yep, Jasper was taken away for the sake of the plot, so that we can focus on Lapis. One homeworld gem at a time, I suppose. But yeah, now that that's been explained, it's time for me to say what I think the future of this gem is. And rather than go through all of the popular theories, I'm just gonna get right to it and say what mine is, because this is a long one. So first, let's go over what happened in Super Watermelon Island. We know that Jasper wasn't around, and I'm sure we all know Jasper's face was never shown in that episode. Even when she's in the same shot as Lapis here, they still don't show her face. Now many theorize that somehow, somewhere, she got her gemstone cracked, and that's why they didn't show her face, so that they could hide that. I personally agree with this theory, as it makes perfect sense. Or maybe it's what Did You Know Steven Universe said, and it's actually a pimple that they were hiding from us. You guys should totally follow that blog, by the way, it's hilarious. But yeah, Jasper's cracked and she fell into the earth. Now I imagine that somehow, in some way, Jasper finds her way out of the ground and goes to confront the crystal gems again, despite being cracked and all. So the big buff Cheeto Puff has a second round with the crystal gems. Now with Lapis. Probably. She'll be glitching out and trying to keep it together, all while fighting off her sworn enemies. And somewhere during the fight, she brings up that she'll go home after it's all over, but the gems tell her that she probably can't. And I don't mean that because she doesn't have a means to get off the planet. I mean Jasper shouldn't go home at all. The second she shows up, Yellow Diamond will punish her for failing such a simple mission, especially when Peridot, a gem who was still technically her responsibility, disrespected her right to her face. So yeah, Jasper will get shattered if she goes home. So with that being said, they'll tell Jasper that she can't go home, and of course while still failing and glitching out, she'll shout that they're liars! And yes, that's my awful Jasper impression. But anyways, she gets defeated by the gems, with Lapis probably getting some poetic justice and being the one to poof her. And then, just as they're about to go and bubble her, Steven, being Steven, says no. He says that it isn't the right thing to do, and somehow he heals Jasper, either through his own healing spit, which he may have gained back, or maybe that's how he gains them back, or by simply taking her to Rose's Fountain. They allow Jasper to reform, and Jasper's confused as to why they showed her mercy, after all that she's done to them. Steven tries to explain, but Jasper says that they've made a huge mistake and takes off, trying to find a way to get off this
garbage planet.
And after a couple of filler episodes, we launch into what I like to call Jasper Alone. Avatar: The Last Airbender fans will know where I'm going with this. Basically, we have an episode or two of Jasper being alone and trying to find her way off of the planet Earth. But she has some experiences that make her start to see that maybe this planet isn't so awful after all. And near the end of this phase of Jasper's arc, we have the rubies come back and try and take on Jasper to take her hostage, well, to take her back to Homeworld. And while you may think that this would be no problem for her, remember that fated line.
Hey, fusion is just a cheap tactic to make weak gems stronger. Quit embarrassing yourselves. I've seen what you really are.
So yeah, they're super strong and they nearly defeat Jasper, until Steven shows up and defends Jasper, and somehow they're able to defeat the giant ruby fusion. Jasper is still confused as to why Steven still insists to show her mercy, and that's when Steven finally explains to her in full that she needed help, and Steven couldn't just stand by and watch that happen. So Jasper finally submits and says, "I want to learn, Rose Quartz," and yes, I'm sorry, more awful Jasper. And one of two things happen. Either Steven takes Jasper back to the barn, where the gems have to keep a close eye on her and don't allow Steven to be alone with Jasper, or Jasper to be alone with Steven. Or Steven and Jasper see each other in secret, and Steven goes to see her behind the gem's back. Either way, it allows the final phase of Jasper's arc. We get into Jasper trying to learn and figure out why, like she's always been asking. And she begins to get some of those answers. And I guess in the end of the arc, she takes it all in. Of course, while this happens, Jasper stops calling him Rose Quartz and resorts to the name Quartz Child or something similar. And in a touching scene at the very, very end of all of this, we have Jasper and Steven alone again. And Jasper has done all the learning that she needs. I think at this point, Jasper officially becomes friends with Steven. And now we get into a conversation I'd imagine going like this. And since I don't feel like doing an awful impression of Steven and saving you, well, the horrors of what that might be like, just imagine my normal voice is his voice, and I'll be doing my impression of Jasper to differentiate the two. So yeah, here is that scene that I'd imagine, that conversation at the end that I imagine happening. Thank you. No problem. I didn't finish. Thank you, Steven. We then get into a discussion of Steven asking Jasper what she'll do now, and she isn't quite sure. She knows she can't go home and that she's not welcome with the crystal gems. So, for now, she says we'll wait and see. And I suppose we will wait and see. That's what I think about Jasper moving forward, and honestly, I know I'm more than likely wrong. Mostly because of how specific I am, that this is going to happen, then this is going to happen, then this is going to happen. But still, I guess it's more so of how I would go forward with Jasper if I were the one writing for the show. Did you guys like this theory? What do you think of Jasper and her future? Do you think I might have gotten you to think a little bit differently about her? Let's start a discussion about this. Thanks for watching, and this has been the Lyoko Gem, signing off.